Mihaela Martin, gold medalist of the first international violin competition of Indianapolis, returns to the scene of her triumph after a 4-year odyssey of concerts, recitals, and critical acclaim. And waiting on stage to discover who will be this year's winner, the 6 laureates of the second competition at the Gala Awards ceremony hosted by Martin Buchspan.
Emeritus of Music at Indiana University and internationally acclaimed violin master, Professor Joseph Gingold.
The setting for this story is the violin competition in Indianapolis, but the story itself is about its laureates and the 6 finalists, all but one previous winners of major international competitions. Annick Roussin, age 27, of France, winner of the 1987 Tchaikovsky violin competition. Sung-Sik Young, age 20, of Korea, prize winner of the Paganini, Long Thibault, and Carl Flesch competitions. Chin Kim, age 28, also of Korea, prize winner of the Queen-Elisabeth and Montreal competitions. Andres Cardenas, age 29, of the United States, prize winner of the Sibelius and Tchaikovsky competitions. Leonidas Kavakos, age 18, of Greece, gold medal winner of the 1985 Sibelius competition. Kyoko Takezawa, age 19, of Japan, a newcomer to international competitions, completes the roster of laureates who have already been recognized as some of the finest violinists of their generation. Each of the 6 laureates understands how important the gold medal can be to launching a major international career.
First place laureate of the 1986 International Violin Competition of Indianapolis, the gold medal winner, Kyoko Takezawa of Japan.
The gold medalist knows her life will now change radically. The transition from brilliant student to acknowledged artist will begin with a tour of 70 orchestral and recital dates in the 2 years following the competition. But this moment of glory is the culmination of years of preparation as intense and demanding as that of an Olympic athlete. It is September in Indiana, a time when every 4 years, over 40 of the world's most talented young violinists come to perform before a renowned jury and enthusiastic audiences. The governor's brunch at the beginning of the 16 days of competition is moderated by founder Joseph Gingold and executive director Thomas Beczkiewicz. Drawing for placement determines when each violinist will perform in the competition. From the preliminaries, 16 semifinalists will be chosen to perform a full recital. From these, the jury will award 6 the title of laureate, each considered a winner, each to perform with the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra. As no one wants to be the first person on stage, drawing number 1 is considered unlucky.
Oh, no!
Is it number 1?
It is.
From almost 200 applications from 23 countries to 44 actual participants to 1 gold medalist, Kyoko Takezawa. Virtually unknown in the United States, except at the Juilliard School of Music, where she came to study in 1982, Kyoko is well known in her homeland, where she won the All-Japan Music Competition that same year at the age of 15. Her studies, however, began at the ripe old age of 3 with the Suzuki method, much like this youngster. While few 3-year-olds will eventually play in Carnegie Hall, the Suzuki method can instill a joy and enthusiasm for music making that can provide the impetus for more rigorous and formal training later. Building coordination, stamina, and concentration by playing follow the leader is not only fun, but it can help to develop the necessary discipline for the long hours of practice required for a concert career. Emphasizing the enjoyment of learning, however, is quite a different approach from the notoriously strict methods of the 19th century, when, for instance, it is said that the young Paganini was forced to practice endless solitary hours to please his demanding father. Only 100 years ago, it seemed that most of the world's distinguished violinists came from Europe. Today, the art of the violin virtuoso is truly global. Here is Kyoko Takezawa in 1982 in her homeland, winning her first music competition. After that, Kyoko came to New York to study with the celebrated teacher Dorothy DeLay, who has taught, among others, Itzhak Perlman, Shlomo Mintz, and Cho-Liang Lin.
Yes, totally different character here,
Yes.
of course. I think, however, this could be shaped, again, perhaps more effectively and more dramatically.
Professor DeLay's teaching has won the devotion of hundreds of students. Concerned with their individual talents, she trains them for the rigorous demands of center stage by encouraging them to project a distinct musical personality. Here, Dorothy DeLay prepares Kyoko to take the spotlight. Returning to Japan, Kyoko repeats her prize-winning performance of Bela Bartok's Violin Concerto on national television with the NHK Symphony Orchestra. The intense communication of her performance in the Bartok distinguished her playing throughout the competition in Indianapolis. Whether in a Bach partita, a Paganini caprice, or this Brahms sonata. memories of early experiences in music were very much part of the present during the competition. Kyoko spoke of her early years in Nagoya, in group learning with a 1/16th size violin, and the support of her family in her continuing studies. Her colleagues in Indianapolis drew on similar first musical memories.
I got the violin when I was 6 years old as a Christmas present under the tree. And I was really excited. I felt excited. I would not let my violin for 3 days. I just had it and I was living with it. It was really, that's what my father says to me now.
I started playing violin at the age of 5.5. And I would say maybe about age of 10, I became pretty serious at it. And then I knew it was going to be my profession.
Though Kyoko played by ear when she began, she eventually had to read music before she could advance to the demanding repertory of the concert soloist. Hours of disciplined practice and sheer determination led to mastery. Annick Roussin spoke about her early music history. She began with the piano at age 4, discovered she didn't like it, and switched to violin when she was 7.
I heard this Paganini concerto that my father brought home one day, and I asked him, boy, how did all those violinists play together? And he said, that was just one guy playing. And that totally blew me away, and I thought, boy, that's incredible. And 3 months later, they announced they were going to start this music program, so I went to the orientation meeting, and I made right for the fiddle, and I never considered any other instrument for an instant.
I don't think none of us really like to practice that hard when we are early age. I mean, we much rather play with other kids. So there had to be a discipline that was laid down by your parents, in which case my mother was. She ran with iron hand, and it was pretty strict. I mean, I had to put in certain hours every day. Otherwise, for instance, I didn't get dinner, you know. So it was pretty clear to me that there had to be work done. And I think as hard as that may be for a kid at that age, I think it is extremely important to get the basic training in there at early age.
One of the most famous players of the 20th century, Yehudi Menuhin, has said that the main principle in learning is to strive for equilibrium, to be relaxed yet coordinated. The violin is a rough and ready instrument, he tells us. The child is immediately at home with the feel of it. His advice to teachers is, remember you are dealing with a living entity, guiding a living force, the organic whole. A co-patriot of Kyoko, winner of major international violin competitions, Hidetaro Suzuki, comments on the relationship between teacher and student.
The most important thing is that child will feel trust in her teacher or his teacher, so that when teacher gives the instruction, he will be totally open to receive this and in order to progress. No matter how much one practices, you really don't get pieces in perspective unless you have opportunity to perform in public. After you perform, certain ideas will come very clear. And then when you repeat this process, then gradually she will find out what is it that she wants to say in this piece. Performance in public cannot be compensated by 100 days, 100 hours of practicing in the room by yourself.
Kyoko at an early age dreamt of the concert stage. A gold medal in Indianapolis will help her fulfill those dreams.
Kyoko Takezawa of Japan.
Joseph Gingold, president of the Indianapolis jury, is filled with admiration for this young violinist. As one of the world's most renowned teachers, he can measure the distance from promising talent to acclaimed artist.
There's a big step between the studio and the concert stage. Once you are on the concert stage, nobody helps you anymore. You're on your own. And from there, we like to see how the person develops. When he will finally reach a point that he'll be recognized. And will then really call it a career. Only time can tell the worth of an artist, but we do give them a start.
Chin Kim, a former student of Ivan Galamian, Yasha Brodsky, and Sally Thomas, here performing the A major sonata by Gabriel Fauré in the semi-final phase. Barely more than a baby, he began listening to recorded concertos and took up the violin, practicing 3 hours a day when he was still only 5 years old, and hating it because his playing didn't sound as good as the records he loved. But he kept at it, and now he says, "I think it's getting better." Chin Kim has taken top prizes in both Brussels and Montreal, and now in Indianapolis. He has strong feelings about competitions in general.
The biggest thing that I notice about the Indianapolis competition is that everything is set. Nothing is left to chance. Or everybody seems to put an effort so that the best performing conditions for the contestants are provided.
What I dreamt about was to have 3 rounds where every contestant plays the repertoire as he's scheduled to play. He was not to be stopped by the jury.
In other competitions, some of the jury have been very rude, and they talk while I'm playing, and they're writing and scribbling. And in one competition, 2 people were just avidly talking and having an argument while I was playing, which was very distracting. And I just don't think that's particularly fair.
I need total concentration. You have to be in a certain creative mood to create. And what I try to do is not to concentrate on how well I do, but how much of myself is being shared through the music, through the violin, with the audience that I'm playing for. And for me, that's the essence of failure or success of a concert.
Chin Kim, 4th place laureate. It may be a cliche to talk about music as an international language, but here is semi-finalist Tamara Smirnova from the Soviet Union taking a break from violin playing to accompany Ikhwan Bey from Korea in the All-American Missouri Rag by Scott Joplin. During the competition, the participants usually stay in the homes of local families. This gives the musicians an opportunity to get away from the pressures of performing, to learn something about life in the United States, and to sample some of Indiana's special Hoosier hospitality.
They all get cooked anyway, so it doesn't matter how fancy they are. Okay. That's probably enough. We'll get too fat if we put too much on.
Along with her gold medal, Kyoko Takezawa will be able to take home memories of new friends and a recipe for American apple pie. In another host family home, Chin Kim is practicing a new work by Pulitzer Prize-winning composer Leon Kirshner. Commissioned especially for this occasion, the 8-minute composition is complex and difficult. Some love it, some don't. But all 16 semi-finalists have undertaken to learn and perform it. That Kirshner piece, as the Indianapolis participants refer to it, contains the kind of experimentation that has shaped and advanced violin playing from its earliest history. It demonstrates a musical tradition that flows from Corelli to Bach to Paganini to Isai to the present day.
I know Mr. Kirshner, and how I met is that he was holding advanced analysis classes in Juilliard School for doctoral students. And for a year, I shared with him on his views about other music and how he analyzes other music and how he views other composers' pieces to be performed. And through that, I have gained an insight into him as a person and his music as, again, a representation of his personality.
For Kyoko and the other players, the Kirshner piece presents a stiff musical challenge. Isaac Stern once said that the worst crime is to play notes rather than to play music. Playing the violin, he insisted, must be like making love. All or nothing. There can be no real performance without inner tension.
Kirshner is about as modern as they come. So we wanted to see how they would approach it, with what intelligence. And this is the worth of the Kirshner piece. But the beautiful part of it is that it wasn't composed just to trick the violinists. It's a very good piece of music.
I like the piece because it's very condensed. There is no measure seems to be wasted. It's never spread out, but everything is very concentrated and definitely has a kind of flow of a structural thing that from beginning to the end, and it really makes sense to me.
Composer Leon Kirshner comments on the 16 individual interpretations he heard of his new work.
When there is a single way, one loses interest. And all of these kids were remarkable. They all had their own way of approaching a problem, a musical idea, and it was fascinating for me to watch them, to hear them.
The Kirchner piece is very much like a Bach sonata in terms of its structure, although it's a lot freer, of course. It's actually a very complex piece to analyze and put together. I find that in that particular work, the most important thing about it is to try and paint a picture within those boundaries.
For his outstanding artistry, bronze medalist Andres Cardenas wins a special award for his performance of that Kirchner piece. The Cuban-born violinist rehearses the Tchaikovsky Violin Concerto with John Nelson, for 11 years music director of the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra.
But I didn't hear
Pretty wiped out.
Didn't hear anything.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you mind doing that again?
Sure.
From 18? The harp
Sure.
stuff? I'm going to let the harp
Sure.
play. Da da da.
Cardenas, at age 29, wins the bronze medal in Indianapolis. Because of his performance experience, Andres knows the difficulties of forging a major career in a highly competitive musical world.
Some teachers are great fans of technical wizards. So they say, oh, this guy should win. He didn't miss a note, you know? I think there are fewer judges who would say, hey, this guy missed some notes, but boy, he really made music. I don't know how many votes you get if you're that type of a player. I'm not so sure. I've just come to accept that every jury is probably different, and there's going to be opinions, and all I hope is, personally, I hope I don't offend anybody with my playing.
Why do young musicians come to competitions? The moneyed prizes are attractive, of course, but a great competition can offer much more, as Joseph Gingold explains.
The positive aspects of competition are that many young violinists who have no access to managements, to symphony conductors, to foreign engagements, and that by, let's say, winning first prize or even placing among the finalists, they call attention to themselves.
When you win a contest, you're in the public eye, you are in the papers, on television, and you begin to make a career in that way.
Psychologically, it's this incredible game that goes on, and there's this pressure in the back of your mind that you can never really play the way you want to play. Although I have to admit, in this particular competition, I have been much more apt to play more in my style.
Andres Cardenas' playing reminds one of Isaac Stern's motto, to use the violin to make music, never to use the music just to play the violin. The modern violin was perfected 300 years ago in Cremona, Italy, by individual members of three families, the Amati, Stradivari, and Guarneri. Since then, the design has never been improved, only imitated in modern instruments, such as this violin handcrafted in an Indianapolis shop. The secrets of the Cremona masters have not yet been unlocked, though every year a new theory explains their superiority. As yet, no theory has been transformed into a modern violin that surpasses the great older instruments for sweetness of tone and projection. This is one of the greatest, created by Giuseppe Guarneri del Gesù 250 years ago. It was Fritz Kreisler's favorite violin, and he donated it to the Library of Congress, where it permanently resides. It left the Library of Congress for the first time during the Indianapolis competition, as part of a special exhibit honoring Kreisler. 1982 gold medalist Mihaela Martin here performs Kreisler's own music on this remarkable violin. September in Indianapolis is a golden time glowing with grace that seems to touch the lives of French violinist and sixth-place laureate Annick Roussin and her husband Marc. Annick carries on the tradition of Ginette Neveu, whose brilliant career was cut short by an airplane crash when she was only 30. It was Neveu's fabled playing that inspired 7-year-old Annick to take up the violin. The Roussins live in France and travel wherever an opportunity for performance opens, whether in the Soviet Union or the United States. Here, they rehearse Prokofiev's D major sonata. However spontaneous it may seem, every strong performance is marked by rigorous physical discipline.
Qui nous fait un peu souffrir, bien sûr, mais ça c'est un aspect qui...
Annick talks about the pain that all violinists suffer. Pain in their fingers, in their neck, in their shoulders. But she says it doesn't matter.
By nature of a violin, when you hold it, it's already twisted the arm, and that's not a natural thing to do.
When you feel that your fingers are like spaghetti, or your muscles are tight, your shoulder hurts, back hurts, something hurts, you didn't get a good night of sleep, you're not confident that your arm is exactly going to stay with you. All those insecurities mount up, you know.
Oh, I just beat the hell out of tennis balls.
You have to be in shape to play violin. You can't just play it.
Yehudi Menuhin claims that the violin soloist should possess an animal agility, half tiger and half poet. Annick Roussin and all the laureates understand that physical conditioning leads to what Menuhin calls that indefinable, subtle quality of style. It is the turn of the phrase, he says, the right degree of vibrato, the right precautions, the right changes in volume, a matter of both restraint and abandon. This 20-year-old, jogging in an Indianapolis suburb during the competition, is 5th place laureate Sung-Sik Young. Born in Korea, the son of a violinist and teacher, Young began playing at age 4. He now lives in France. He studied there with Michel Auclair and later with Ifra Niemann in London before coming to Indiana to compete. Indianapolis is a metropolis where arts and sports play vital roles in defining the community. It's a place that Kyoko Takezawa and all the participants enjoy because of its generous hospitality and enthusiastic audiences. The violin competition, in fact, gained its worldwide acclaim not only because of its great juries and rich prizes, but because of the care and support extended to the young violinists who compete here. Cathedral Arts, the sponsoring organization, and its volunteers make sure the players can concentrate on playing. Of solitary practice achieved the quality of playing that Eugène Ysaÿe, the great violinist, was said to have possessed. A synthesis between technical perfection and the greatest intensity of expression. That is the mark of the greatest artists and a goal for each of the young players.
You cannot use a technique in musical sense without emotional content. I don't believe technique for technique's sake is a real technique. Technique is only a technique when you can apply to whatever you are feeling at the moment.
It is you as a person going into the music, and then music is going into the fiddle, and then the fiddle is going into the air, and then it's being received through the people's ears and sight, and then they feel, hopefully, the same things that you're feeling, and hope that what you're feeling is the essence of the music.
When you reach a certain level of playing, I think you can separate technique and music. It goes together because you play the violin for violinist to make music with it, and you need technique, violistic technique, to make music.
It is obviously easier for an artist to show rather than to talk about his or her art. The incomparable Fritz Kreisler simply refused to talk about technique, about how he communicated a whole world of charm with perfect ease. That, he perhaps felt, should remain a sublime mystery, to be enjoyed but not understood by his audience. 2,000 Central Indiana students, grades 1 through 12, were invited to become a part of the competition by rendering the art of the violin in paintings and drawings. Their visual interpretations captured the violin's wide appeal, from classical masters to square dance callers, from a concert hall to a wooden porch on the bayou. Leonidas Kavakos of Greece spent 8 years studying at the Hellenic Conservatory of Music in Athens. He won the gold medal at the Sibelius competition in Helsinki and came to study with Joseph Gingold at Indiana University, Bloomington. Now at 18, he is the silver medalist in Indianapolis.
My first teacher was trying in my first lessons to make me play the violin without feeling anything, just be free. You know, just the hands would move, nothing else. And I think that was very important because today when I play, I never get tired. I feel my hands. That's what I mean.
The hands are as critical to a musician as to a sculptor. The subtle pressure of right hand coordinated with the articulation of the left shapes each phrase, as in this sonata by Ravel. Hidetaro Suzuki again comments on the artist and communication.
Some people have a lot of feelings, but they doesn't know how to communicate. Some people know the way to communicate, but there's nothing much to communicate. So there's a balance that has to be struck between these two.
And you know, sometimes you have a very important message and you don't have to shout. You say it quietly.
Although he was the youngest player in the Indianapolis competition, Leonidas demonstrated a maturity beyond his years. An artist is not a machine, he says, practicing here at the home of his host family. He says, when I am performing, I try to be as free as possible, and this is better for the audience because they can see it as something natural.
We who are teaching are so thrilled with the marvelous progress and the marvelous students we have. After a while, we are saddened because there are some of our students who play remarkably well, who have been training for soloists and could fulfill that role. And it's impossible for them to find a job. Can you imagine?
Joseph Gingold doesn't need to worry, however, about the future of Leonidas Kavakos. Already, international management organizations have discovered his talent, and dozens of concerts await him. Gingold knows that not all of the laureates will necessarily enjoy major, enduring careers, because in addition to phenomenal talent and fierce dedication, good fortune plays a very important role. And there is is always the tantalizing possibility that one or more of these laureates may have everything it takes to join the ranks of the legendary performers of this century: Kreisler, Elman, Heifetz, Milstein, Menuhin, Stern, Oistrakh, Schering. Only time will tell. John Nelson collaborates with Leonidas Kavakos, who in the months to follow will tour Europe with the Helsinki Philharmonic and will have recital debuts in Washington and New York. Joseph Gingold will nurture other young protégés. Chin Kim will make his New York debut at Merkin Hall and finish his doctorate at Juilliard. Andres Cardenas will tour as concertmaster with the Pittsburgh Symphony and perform in the Far East. Leon Kirshner will compose new and challenging works. Annick Roussin and her husband Marc will have their first baby and then play concerts in France and Switzerland. Hidetaro Suzuki will further his career as soloist, concertmaster, and conductor. And Sung-Sik Young will have major concerts in London and Paris. Kyoko Takezawa, first laureate and gold medalist, will begin the winner's tour of America and Europe, culminating in a Carnegie Hall debut in October of 1988. Like Mihaela Martin before her, Kyoko will carry on the tradition embodied in the famed Chrysler-Guarneri violin. It is the goal of the competition in Indianapolis to participate in and pass on the great tradition and art of the violin, a tradition that began with the invention of the instrument and that has been enhanced and perfected through the generations of great violinists, composers, and teachers to these young players who sustain it for the next generation. The competition comes to a close.
I am so proud, and I wish you continued luck, success, and everything beautiful that life has to offer. And just love and fiddle all your life. Thank you very much.
For Kyoko, her career as virtuoso will be launched as she performs on the concert stages of the world. longer judged as a prodigy, Kyoko will be judged by the highest critical standards as the winner of the Indianapolis. Her New York orchestral debut at Alice Tully Hall is one of the stops on the tour. Rave notices in the press for her performances of Mozart and Tchaikovsky with the Illinois Chamber Orchestra confirmed her gold medal. A critic for Musical America wrote, "In addition to all the blood, sweat, and talent required for a concert career, an artist sorely needs charisma, a magnetic presence that demands that we care on stage. At 20, the immensely talented Kyoko Takezawa has it in abundance." It's a long way from Nagoya to New York for this young woman now facing the challenge of the first glowing reviews, the adulation of fans, and her own need for solitude and continued growth as an artist. A century ago, the German poet Heinrich Heine wrote, "The violin is an instrument which has almost human whims. It is attuned to the mood of the player in a sympathetic rapport. A minute discomfort, the tiniest inner imbalance, a whiff of sentiment elicits an immediate resonance. Probably because the violin, pressed against the chest, can hear our hearts beat. But this happens only with artists who truly have a heart that beats, who have a soul."